Good morning to everyone who's attending this afternoon. A very warm welcome on this cold day here in Pretoria. I'm very pleased again to be here from the Unisa Directorate for Counselling and Career Development. My name is Lisa Dazel, and we're very excited to listen today about the Practical Vocational Training Program at the Gawie le Roux Institute of Law. Just some house rules. You would have noticed as you entered the meeting that your microphone and your camera is switched off. We will have time for questions and answers after Dr. Ball's presentation. You are, however, welcome throughout the presentation to post any questions that you have in the chat, but we will then open the microphones and have some time for live interactions after the presentation. We just ask in the chat that you don't share any personal information. So that would be things like your cell phone number or your personal email address. We have other platforms to do that if that is your need. So from my side, a very warm welcome again, and I'm going to invite my colleague, Mrs. Mandu Makanya, just to introduce our speaker to us. Thank you, Mandu.
Thank you, Lisa. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure today to welcome our speaker, Dr. Lisa Ball. She is the principal of the Gawie le Roux Practical Vocational Training Institute. She is dedicated to delivering high-quality training and education. Before joining the Gawie le Roux Institute team, she was a lecturer in the Department of Information Science at the University of Pretoria from 2011 to 2023. She earned her PhD in 2021 and has published several articles. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a warm round of applause as we welcome Dr. Ball to our virtual stage. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Mandu. Liesel, you are welcome to share your screen with us and to start with your presentation.
I just first of all want to thank the Directorate of Counselling and Career Development for this opportunity. We appreciate your hard work in setting up this meeting, and we also appreciate the opportunity to speak about our school. All right, so the question that I want to start with is one that I hope is relevant to all of you in this session, and it is, what do you need to become an attorney? In this presentation, I'm just going to focus on the qualification or training requirements. First of all, which I believe is obvious or pretty well known, is an LLB degree. And I believe most of you are somewhere in the journey of your LLB degree, maybe some closer to the start, some closer to the finish of this. But and I think that is fairly well known, that you need to at least have an LLB degree if you want to become an attorney. The second one that I think is also somewhat some common knowledge about this is the competency-based exam. This is also referred to as the board exam, or the board exam, attorney's admission exam. That's also what people refer to this exam. And that is the exam that you have to write. So once you've done your LLB, and then afterwards, if you want to become an attorney, there's another exam that you need to write. This is this exam. It's also quite a big exam, focusing then with four papers that you have to write. The last one, which is going to be the focus of my presentation today, is practical vocational training. And this is the one that may cause some confusion, or at least in what we have experienced. So what is practical vocational training? Now, practical vocational training prepares law graduates for the workplace. So now you've been at university, you've done your law degree, but it's, as in most fields, it could tend to sometimes be that what you read in the textbook is the ideal. And that is maybe different to what not different, not significantly different, but what happens in practice then is you also have to know that. So this training is then to be that bridge, to bridge that gap between what you learned now in the classroom and to get to the workplace. But now this PVT, practical vocational training, consists of 2 parts. Now, the first part, I think, is what is most well known, and that is your contract that is concluded with a law firm. Most often, it runs for 2 years. So it's 2 years, a contract that you work at a law firm. So this is also referred to as your PVT contract. Maybe you've heard some other students who are ahead of you in the journey speak about, are they articles or their clerkship? These are things that the words that people use for this concept, where you work at a law firm. All right. But now there is a second part, and that is a program of structured coursework, which might sometimes also referred to as the PVT school, or sometimes people just speak about law school and they say we have to go to law school. That is this part that they speak about. So your PVT has got your contract and also your school. And together, these 2 should prepare you for the workplace. So whilst under a PVT contract, you will obtain practical skills and experience on the job. The PVT school, on the other hand, then supplements the clerkship experience with practical training and knowledge. So if you came in here today and wondered, why must you do PVT school? There's a short answer, and it's you must. It is compulsory to be admitted as an attorney. And I hope you saw that now from the previous slide where we said it's these 2 components, at least for the PVT side, that it's compulsory if you become an attorney. But there is more that we can say about this PVT school. So this program of structured coursework has been standardized by the LPC, so the Legal Practice Council. So they set up the syllabus, the content, what they think is important, and what they want the candidate attorneys or prospective candidate attorneys, applicants to know and learn. So that is what they set up. Then they accredit training providers to provide this, and there are 4 accredited training providers, of which we are one that presents this PVT school. And as I've said, the aim of the program is to help you to bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and the applied understanding required for legal practice. Just a little bit more about this. So during your PVT contract, your clerkship or your articles, you may be working in a number of legal disciplines or only in a single area of law. But the program of structured coursework covers a broad spectrum of skills. So it really depends. Yeah, people will have different experiences. You might work at a big law firm. You might work at a small law firm. You might be asked to do during the 2 years only to do working in one area and do a similar kind of thing, or you might be moved and you will be asked to do various things. So your experience in your contract might differ from person to person, but the program then is standardized and covers then a broad spectrum of skills. And by doing this, you should then be equipped with the practical skills you will need to successfully immerse yourself in the legal profession. So what is this curriculum? that is then standardized. There are 14 subjects that you have to complete. It's constitutional law, ethics for legal practitioners, intellectual and personal injury claims, civil procedure and trial advocacy, criminal court practice and trial advocacy, labor dispute resolution, as well as alternative dispute resolution, legal practice accounts management, wills and estates, matrimonial matters and divorce, legal costs, drafting of contracts, introduction to cyber law, and introduction to practice management. Now, these are the names of these courses as they are in the norms and standards from the LPC. Now, how is this program presented? Now, the format of the school is often offered in two formats. The first one is 400 notional hours and 150 notional hours. Now, this is quite important. And immediately I wonder if you were thinking, you know, why would you do a longer one if you can do a shorter one? But this is quite important because they are different benefits and different of the two. So let's talk about these two formats. The 400 notional hours program is obviously longer. So let me just speak about the notional hours. Maybe you are aware, but the notional hours, that is what is the estimate that it will take you, an average person, to complete this program, which includes then your lectures and homework and reading and studying and assessment. So the hours, the notional hours, that is the estimated hours that it will take to complete this program. So it's not 400 lecture hours. That includes everything, homework, etc. as well. Okay, so the 400 notional hours program, it's obviously longer, it's got longer lectures, it's got more homework and more assessments. So it is a more comprehensive program. If you do this program, you are eligible to only do 1 year under a PVT contract. That is why it really has to be more comprehensive. It has to, because it almost has to cover a year's worth of experience. All right. So you may then only do 1 year of contract. Remember at the beginning, I said it's typically 2 years because I think most people do 2 years. But if you do the 400 notional hour program, you may only do 1 year. I just wanted to say it could also depend on the contract you get and where it gets. Some law firms do not want to give a 1 year contract. Others want to give a 1 year contract. So it depends more than it depends on various factors. The other thing with this 400 notional hours program is that you are then you may write the attorney's admission exam without having a contract. So there are various requirements before you can enroll for the attorney's admission exam. And one of them is you must have completed at least 6 months of your PVT contract. But now, if you don't have a contract yet, you don't get a contract or there's something that came in the way, you may do this 400 notional hours program and then go and write the admissions exam and then go on with your contract. So whereas the 150 notional hours program is then very obviously, as the name suggests, a shorter program with shorter lectures, less assessments. I'll probably spend less time reading up to prepare for the assessments, but then you have to do 2 years under a PVT contract. So what you choose really will depend on your situation. So the 400 notional hours program is ideal for you if you want to do a 1 year contract, want to write the admissions exam without a contract, and are interested in a more comprehensive program that will equip you better for the workplace. You may go and look at Regulation 61B with regards to this program. The 150 notional hours program is then ideal for you if you do not have the time for the comprehensive 400 notional hours program. So you are fully busy with your articles and you get very busy. You don't have time for this additional comprehensive program. To the 2-year contract, and then in terms of, obviously in terms of cost, typically the 150 hour, yeah, I think will be not as expensive. All right, so that is just about the PVT school. And now I want to say in general, and what is PVT and where does it fit in with the bigger picture of becoming an attorney? Now I want to say something about our Institute of Law. Now, the Gawie le Roux Institute of Law has been providing legal training since 1994. It actually all started with Gawie le Roux when he was preparing for the conveyancing exam. And he saw that at that time there wasn't really notes or material to study that was fitted and worked well. So he wrote his own comprehensive set of notes for this exam. And actually it started informally, where people started to ask him for his notes and that he must share his notes. And he realized, well, he could actually package this, and this just became a business. So it started with a self-study deeds course, and then this enterprise expanded. And it grew into the only bilingual and largest private training institution in the field of conveyancing in notarial practice in South Africa. This then also expanded, and there's various courses, diplomas, webinars, workshops that are being presented, and you're welcome to go and look at our website if you're interested. But the one that might be relevant, so the first relevant option to you is probably the preparation for the attorney's admission exam. The newest addition to our services, though, is the PVT school, and that is what this presentation is about. So at the moment, we only have accreditation from the LPC for the 400 notional hours program. We have applied for the 150 as well. So, and we are confident that we will receive accreditation for the 150-hour program as well. I did see a hand, but I'm hoping that I can address all the questions at the end of the session. Okay, so let's speak about the 400 notional hours program that is presented by our Institute of Law. So the program spans 4 months. This was maybe also something that you would have wanted to know in terms of, is this a year commitment? If it's replaces, as it were, then the year of articles. But it spans 4 months, and then you have 14 subjects, as we said, and then each subject consists of lectures and homework. The lectures are presentations by experts, and then the homework includes studying, reading, preparing, and assessments. The amount of lecture hours and homework hours assigned to each subject is, we indicate that in the front of the course material, or it's also on the learner platform. But so each subject has a certain amount of hours assigned to it, and then the total amount of hours come to 400. The whole program can be done online. So the important thing is that you don't need to be, you can do it from your home. The whole program can be done from home, but not all subjects can be done after hours. So that's quite an important factor that will explain now why not everything can be done after hours. We use a learner platform. So it's like a website where you log in and then you can receive your course notes, and you get then the link to the lecture, and for those lectures where there are recordings, you can get the recording there, and the assessments that you have to do is all on this platform. But therefore, it is important that you have the necessary technical infrastructure to participate in this program, and you must have then your computer and internet connection and data to do this. Now, the subjects are divided into two groups. We have online or recording and in-person or online attendance, and that is quite important, this distinction. So we have 12 subjects that are either online or recording. Okay, so those are all the subjects except the ones in the other column, the civil procedure and trial advocacy and criminal court practice and trial advocacy. So all those other subjects, constitutional law, delictual and personal injury claims, labor dispute, all the others fall into this category of online or recording, where it works sort of similar to what we are doing now. It's presented online. We, at the moment, use Zoom. So you will, so students log in like you are logging in now and listening to me present the session. And there's an opportunity for interaction with the lecturer. You can ask questions in the chat or unmute yourself and talk to the lecturer. However, if you cannot attend, these lectures are recorded and then placed on the platform after the sessions, and they are available for a limited period of time. These classes all are in the morning. Lectures start at 8 o'clock, and they vary in length. So some lectures are 5 hours, some are 2 hours, some are 8 hours. It really depends on what the lecturer decided, how they want to split up their lectures for that subject. That is almost the easy option. The other option, those two subjects are very important subjects where you have to practice. All the subjects are important, but these ones require some interaction. So they cannot be done asynchronously. So you have to, so you can still be at your home, but you then have to be online at the time of the event. Or you can come to our venue in person where the lectures are being presented. And those are actually really nice because students come in it's an in-class environment. So I think it's a really nice option. But anyway, so the lectures are presented at a venue and then live streamed on Zoom or another platform. But there are no recordings for these subjects because real-time participation is required. And sometimes students go into breakout rooms and then they discuss a certain matter that was presented by the lecturer, and then we come back to the main room and so on. All right, so most of the class can be done after. So if you are busy working, it's just to note that if you are serving on a PVT contract, the 400 notional hour program must be completed in your own time. So that is after hours. So for these two lectures, for these two subjects, not like they're quite long, you will have to get permission from your principal. Attend these and either work in the hours or take leave or whatever the arrangement is. But often the 400 notional hour program is done before a person starts with their contract. Yeah, but it really depends on situation from person to person, and just note that that is the requirement. All right, so we have lectures and then we have homework, which basically then is tested by assessments, which will be used to evaluate learning and mastery of content. Formative assessment will occur during the lectures. So then if you are online and the lecturers will maybe ask questions and you can participate and there's a discussion to see how students understand the work. But all subjects will have a summative assessment at the end in the form of a multiple choice question test. Some subjects will have additional assessments in the form of essay or long questions. And this is where you practice drafting, like heads of arguments or maybe a practice note, something to that effect. Particulars of a claim, some kind of drafting that is being tested and practiced for you to see where you are and how you're doing with that particular aspect. Okay, what do you need to do? Pass this program. You need to attend all lectures and have a pass mark of 50% or more. So the attendance and the assessments really work together. So you can't just do the attendance and never go to lectures. The lectures is required. So you will mark like a register. So you get a code during the lecture and then you fill that in so that you say you've attended. And then we also have some assessments and then you get a certificate of competence. What do you need to join this program? You need an LLB degree from a South African university. Or a law degree in another country, but then it must be recognized by SAQA. You need an average of 50% or more in your degree. If you haven't completed your LLB degree, we can allow a maximum of 2 modules outstanding. But then, so then you can do our program, but then we request that before we give out the certificate that you show that you have completed your degree, and then we hand out your certificate. You can apply on our website. There's an application fee, and then we look at your application and decide if and see if it meets the requirements. If you are then admitted, then there are certain registration fees. It's either at the moment once off or 3 installments, so you can pay a deposit and then 2 installments. At the moment, there's no financial aid or like a bursaries or sponsorship. We are a private institution, a training institution, so we don't work. So we have at the moment no financial aid. Hopefully, at some point, we have things in place to assist students. I just wanted to share with you. We are currently busy in our first intake. And just some of the things that students have said so far. The lecturer really presented the subject well, and I felt that I gained a lot of useful knowledge that I can use in the field. The course was not just academic, but also practical. And that is exactly the thing that we are aiming for with this program. Also, the flexibility of the recordings and the flow of the information helped me bridge my LLB theory with practice and real-life scenarios. Also, it was also refreshing to hear my fellow candidate attorneys asking relevant and to-the-point questions. We really enjoyed if there's interaction in class. And then lastly, I enjoyed each and every lesson and topics of this module. The lecturer is very knowledgeable on the topic at hand. I have learned a great deal. We try to get lecturers who are experts in the field as well. I'm going to end off with some general questions that we've received so far. And what I hope is even if you don't come to us for your PVT school, we did find that there's such a confusion about what is a PVT, what is this PVT school and where does it come in? And we have people asking us about the contract and so on. So I really hope that at least in speaking about our school, I also made it clearer for you what is required if you want to become an attorney. Okay, so then first of all, how does this relate to the competency-based exam? Is this program sufficient to prepare for the attorney's admission exam? So I want to start off by saying no, because this is not the focus of this program. The focus of the program is on practical training. Sorry, I read the first bullet first. And then it's to bridge the gap between the theoretical legal knowledge and the applied practical skills. So the focus is on getting you ready for the workplace. It's not geared, the focus is not it's not an exam preparation program. But of course, it's not like things are in silos and, you know, things are exist in vacuums apart from each other. The program will then to some extent help you to prepare for the admission exam. We have seen also that some lecturers just tend to, in their program, will have practical, talk about practical things and how to do things, and then also say, so you might see this in the exam and so on. So it's not, so the focus of this is practical. It might help you to prepare to some extent, but it's really not the focus of this program. How do you prepare for the admission exam? If you're interested, there are additional courses. We offer attorneys preparation courses as well. These are called finishing or exam preparation courses. So is a PVT certificate necessary to write the board exam? So these are also questions we've received from students. Because I think of the confusion because of this 400 notional hours program and the 115 hours program. So what you need to write the exam, you may write the exam if you've completed your PVT contract, or if you're busy with it and have done at least 6 months of the contract, or if you've completed the program of structured coursework of 400 notional hours. All right. So just I mean, I know I've already spoken about this now, but so people ask us if we'll have the certificate ready so that they can write the exam. But that is only if you don't have PVT contract. So just keep that in mind. I work during the day. Can I still do the program? So yes, but also just read that whole, there is more than just yes. So yes, we have recordings for everything except 2 subjects, which will not be recorded. These require real-time interaction. So you can still then do online. You don't have to come to our venue in Pretoria, but you will have to get permission from your work to attend this and cancel for those lectures, then all other commitments need to be cancelled. But the assessments and reading work can be done on your own time for all subjects. Then in terms of what support is available and what network opportunities are available. So this is, remember, so this is a training institute. So this isn't a law firm. We've had questions about networking, so just bear that in mind. On the other hand, you will be in a program with lots of other people who are on the same journey as you. So from our side, we, of course, typically work well via email or on our learner platform. There's an opportunity for chats. But then we also have a Telegram group for the students of each intake. And what we've seen on this is that students really support each other here. And they sometimes answer questions before we do, and help each other. And, you know, there's a sense of, you know, what's happening and what's going on. So that is something that we do offer. And in that, we've also seen from the students who came to the venue, as well as people in the breakout rooms, we've also received, for those classes where there's real interaction, we've also seen positive comments about that. But I think actually the Telegram group is quite a good option And of course, you don't have to be part of that group because everything that's important is communicated either on the platform or the email. But we have this, it's an option for people to, in a more informal manner, to support each other and to network with people on the same journey as them. This brings me to the end of my presentation. And now I am happy to take questions. I'm just going to open the chat to see if I've already received questions in here. I see there are a lot of questions.
Liesel, if we
Yes.
could, firstly, thank you very much for the presentation. Zintley has had her hand up, so let's give her an opportunity, then we could go and take a look at the chat questions.
Okay, absolutely.
Anyone else, excuse me, who would want to ask a live question, you're welcome to raise your hand. I'm going to unmute your, or allow you to use your microphone. Zintley, you are welcome to unmute and ask your question. Okay, let's go over to the next person, Tebogo. I'm just going to allow your microphone as well. You're welcome to unmute. Tebogo,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hazel. And thank you for the presentation, Doc. It was well captured. A quick question from me, which might not necessarily be presented. This is just something that I've come across with colleagues in the field. For people who are already working, they've qualified with the LLB degree, and then they have also, like me, I'm currently doing the PVT coursework with the LSSA. But how would you advise somebody who's already working to deal with what we call the articles? You know, you are not able to resign from work and you are not getting any legal experience from your current employment. I know this might not be in your purview, but I just thought as an expert in the field, you might just have an advice for me and everybody in my boat. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but I don't actually have advice for that. That sounds like I'm sure that that is something that many people do experience. As we work from the training side, just managing the program, don't quite know what advice to give there. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Liesel, maybe just to assist Tebogo, I just want to check with you. Do you mean, for example, the instance where you've completed your LLB degree, you may be working at an employer, but it's not under a training contract. So, for example, you may be working at a bank or at an institution, or you were working as you were completing the LLB degree. Now you've got this requirement to do the practical training. So managing that kind of transition, is that what you meant?
That's exactly what I mean. Thank you very much for clarifying. Yeah.
Liesel, I'm not sure, you know, maybe just from the training. So I'm thinking about that you mentioned, you know, one of the options then for somebody in that situation would be, for example, to complete the legal school training. If you could, do you think that helps you to maybe think about an answer?
I think then, so, but I understand that he's already doing a form of PVT training, so the coursework. So that would also then depend if it's 150 or 400. If it's 400, then there's only 1 year PVT contract or like articles required, which could already help. But there, in terms of where to get the contract and so on, I think what I did think now was one of the places to reach out to would be the LPC. They work with the contracts and the PVT contract, so that might be a good port of call.
Yes, and the LPC, is that the what does that stand for?
Legal Practice Council.
Okay, so in the instance, because you know, I'm just thinking about our situation as Unisa. We have students, from different backgrounds and at different ages who decide to start with their LLB degrees in order to become legal practitioners. So one of the options, instead of, for example, then doing a 2-year training contract, which has financial implications also for those of us who have been working, all along. So one of the options would then be to complete the practical legal training and then just do a 1-year contract. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes. So then so if you are then also working in a non-legal environment, then to do this 400 notional hours program and then have the opportunity, or you are then eligible to just do a 1-year contract. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's go over to the next person. Teddy, you're welcome to unmute. Okay, you're welcome to ask your question.
I wanted to know if Pretoria will be the only center that will be able to offer the in-person training, or there are any other available centers around the country.
Thank you. Liesel?
Sorry, can you just repeat your question?
So I wanted to know that Pretoria, will it be the only center that you can able to provide the in-person training, or do you have other maybe institutions around or venues around the country?
Sorry, yeah, I just didn't come through clearly the first time, but I got you there. No, unfortunately, Pretoria is the only in-person place.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you, Teddy. It's Matsubane. You're welcome to unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you for wonderful presentation. My question is I want clarity on the fees. I see there was an application fee and the installment. Can I get some clarity on that and the total cost? Thank you.
Okay, yes. So there is an application fee of 300 Rand. So that's just to send in your application and that we look at that. That is basically just for admin. But then if you are accepted, then it's the registration fee. So the fees for the program it's actually 20,000 Rand. So we give you 500 Rand off if you pay once off. But if you pay in installments, then it comes up to 20,000 Rand. So the deposit is 10,000 Rand. And then basically before the end of the first month of the program, the first installment has to be in. And then by the end of the second month of the program, you also have to pay your second installment.
Thank you, Liesel. Let's move over. Lungile Dume. You're welcome to unmute and ask your question.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much for your program. It was very nice and good. I'm having the form in front of me, page 6, that indicate PVT contract registration, which they are saying we must indicate the PVT contract registration. Remember, I'm new and also I'm left with 4 modules to complete the degree. And also, I just want to know, when can we apply now? Remember, we're waiting for the result. Remember, we're waiting for the results now. There is only 1 module that is left in order to appear on my results. Interested in order to apply. Then I just want to have an idea, when can we apply?
I just wanted to double check which form you have in front of you, because I don't think our...
I'm having the PVT School for Legal Practice 2024, page 6 in front of me. Then when you go there, there's A, which is detailed of applicant. Then at the bottom there on that, in the middle of that page, there is indicate PVT contract registration. What do you write there? Because I decided to write PVTC for candidate attorneys. I'm not sure whether I'm right or not correct.
I wonder if you don't have maybe one of the other training the registration form for one of the other training providers. Oh, who shared their screen?
I did. I just wanted us to see if we're talking about the same thing.
Yes,
So
because
I'm projecting the Gawie le Roux Institute, the registration page now. Yeah.
yes, because I think if we ask for your contract, we just ask if you are, if you are working for a firm, or if you have a contract, and if so, if it's 1 or 2 years. But that shouldn't be compulsory fields, because it should be on the second page, Liaza. So I think we'll have.
Okay.
So I don't know because you'll have to select. These are all compulsory. Anyway, but I do think I can. I wanted to answer some of. I think I could answer some of your other questions. The next part of your question. So because remember, so if you should be able to fill in if you are doing your contract or not. So for your training provider. Okay, but let's just look at the next page.
Okay.
Okay, so you should scroll down a little bit. This is just personal information. Okay, education and PVT contract. So we need to know if you are your LLB, and we just need to for us, we just want to know if you are under contract, and if so, if you have done if you are under 1 or 2 years. Okay, some other training providers might have more requirements about the contract that you are in.
Okay, I think that clarifies. So perhaps Lungile, is that you are having a form from one of the other training providers. Liesel, you mentioned that there are 4 different options.
So, for example, there's lead. There's also
This one, I'm holding lead here in front of me.
I don't know if I can give you all the information. So I don't have detailed knowledge of their registration form. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay.
And so Lungile, perhaps just in terms of if you want to apply through lead, is to contact them if you need clarity, about the questions that they're asking on their form. Okay, let's move over. No. Remember, just to clarify, maybe, and Liesel, you can correct me if I'm wrong. She mentioned that there are 4 different training providers for this practical for the vocational training. Yes.
Okay, so it's the lead.
The
lead is very big. Then there's also University of Pretoria, Ilovo, and us. So if you want to come to us, it's Gawie le Roux, and but we also only at the moment do the 400. Whereas the others will also have the 150. Hopefully next year we also have the 150. So our closing date for our next intake, which I don't think that will be relevant to you because most of you, I assume, will still be finishing your degree, is the 8th of July. And then for our registrations will open towards the end of the year for next year's intakes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Lungile.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let's move over. It says Team Kwanazi. You're welcome to unmute and ask your question.
Good day, Doc. Thank you for a nice presentation. I see that Gawie le Roux is helping people when they want to become attorneys. So if someone wants to become an advocate, or per se an actual advocate, which is fusing the works of an advocate with the attorney, does your training company help with such cases?
I'm so grateful for your question, because I also been looking at the chats on the side, and I saw some questions relating to advocates. It's very important that to make the distinction. We are for attorneys. The advocates, that's a separate journey. There's separate training. It's also referred to as pupillage. It's completely separate. So if our training is geared for attorneys.
Okay, thanks, Diesel. I've also posted links to information sources. So the General Council of the Bar of South Africa, so they've got information about becoming an advocate, and then also from the Law Society of South Africa to clarify the difference for those of you who still need to clarify that. Yeah. Okay, let's go over to Junior Mtsweni.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to unmute here. Good day, everyone, and thank you for your course. It's quite very informative. But one thing I need clarification is on, I'm looking at the curriculum, it's 14 subjects, and comparing to the board exams is 4 papers. One thing I'd wanted to know is that when you take the 400 hours, are they covering all what will come to these 4 papers? Because I think in the 4 papers you cover ethics and others, I think, and costing there. So I'm so surprised why so many curriculum for 4 papers. At the end of the day, you're gonna be writing 4 papers and you have to do like 14 subjects when you take the vocational training. So can they just clarify what is the difference there?
I just want to remind you, so the PVT training is focused on practical, and it covers various aspects of law, but focus on practical. It's not sufficient actually to prepare you for the exam. The exam, where you write, that's 4 papers. There are other courses. If you're interested in exam, like finishing or exam preparation courses, which focuses on what is dealt with in the papers. Some of the subjects you write, like ethics, will then sort of link and maybe part of it will help you to prepare for the exam. But in your mind, I think you must separate the practical vocational training program, the school, with the exam. The exam, the whole program is, the focus of it is practical to prepare you for the workplace. It's not exam preparation.
Okay, no, I do understand that. Okay, thanks for clarification. Thank you.
Thank you,
Oh, do you
Junior.
wanted to know why there are 14 subjects? But that you will have to ask the LPC. And if you go, because they set up the, are there 4 papers and why are there 14? Okay, no, I think I understand. Sorry. But that is set up by the LPC. The curriculum and syllabus, what must be covered there, is completely set up by them. And that is what they feel is required for people to prepare for the workplace.
Okay, so when you take this vocational with a law firm, is there any stipend, sort of internship?
So there's no stipend from our side. That will have to become from a law firm. So I think it really depends. So our program, our 400 notional hours as well, I think it, like you said, maybe it's suited for someone who's doesn't yet have a contract, or decided later in their life to become an attorney, wanted to go the legal route and is working somewhere else. So if you do your articles or contract with a big law firm, sometimes this program is almost included in your contract, but it's not always. So it depends. If you work for a big law firm, maybe they just say, look, all the interns come and do your training. Then they typically do 150-hour thing. I don't know if I've confused you now, I've helped you. But from our side, we just provide the training. So we don't also do the stipend, or we don't pay you to do our training, no.
No, because I know from the other law firm that I know that from SAQA, because it's a skills development, I think they were paying those candidate attorneys around 8,000. That's why I'm asking if you are doing the 150 rational hours one with the law firm, obviously it's going to take you 2 years. And then is there SAQA responsible in between for skills development per se and stuff?
I think the law firms will deal with that. So that will depend on the arrangement with the contract and the law firm and the place you end up with the contract, the contract work. Yes.
Oh, okay. No. Clarified. Thanks. Hey.
Thank you, Junior. Let's move over to Mamotla Uber, You're welcome to unmute and ask your question.
Good day. Thank you for the opportunity. My first question is, I think I read somewhere that you need an average of 60%, and also advise on someone who is working 8 to 5. I'm based in Pretoria, yes. And you mentioned that we need to attend 4 hours or something like that. So is that going to work for me if I do take the program?
If you do take the program and you're working full-time, you can do 12 subjects after hours. There are 2 subjects which you will have to take leave or get permission from your employer to attend in person.
Okay, so is it during the day or like?
During the day.
During the day.
Starts
Okay,
at
and
8.
what's the next question? Because I read, I think that you need an average of 60%. So does that
At 55. 55.
Okay. All right then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mamotla. Let's invite Sally Motsweni. You're welcome to unmute and ask your question. Sally.
Hi. Thank you for a beautiful presentation, Doctor. I just wanted to find out, in terms of the PVT curriculum, you do indicate that it's guided by the LPC. Is there a way to introduce other, I mean, we are now living in the world of social media and content creation. Can they introduce intellectual property as part of the curriculum, or it will always be the ones that were done 20 years ago? That is my question. And in terms of the 400 hours that for those that are not in law firms as yet, how is it distributed? Are you able to, so if you are on the January intake, are you then expected to complete the 400 hours within the first 6 months, or you can spread it out throughout the year depending on your workload? Is there that flexibility? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sally. To answer your first question, I think that's a very good suggestion. Unfortunately, I'm not the right person to make that suggestion to, because that will have to come from the LPC to update the curriculum and to make changes to that. I do think, however, that maybe in the meantime, some additional webinars or workshops can address some of your concerns and interests there. Then in terms of spreading the 400 hours, so the program is in 4 months. However, if what we've seen sometimes, students then have increased, something happens and they can't do one subject because of some commitments, they ask to move that subject to the next intake, which we can allow if you give us sufficient notice. There's a certain notice period. It's a week before a subject starts that you can say, I can't do that subject. However, if it's later than that week, then there are some costs involved. Then you have to pay to redo the subject, otherwise you can just be moved.
Thank you, Liesel. Let's ask Destiny. You're welcome to unmute and ask your question. Destiny.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, and thank you to everyone here. The presentation was quite good. The first time I got the invite, I must tell you, I didn't know I could do a PVT like remotely. I was all thinking about going to a law firm and, you know, having the opportunity to do the PVT and all that. But let me just, for the sake of time, let me just ask a question. Should one complete the PVT, which is 400, like you were mentioning, is 400 notional hour, and then would that qualifies one now to go straight to writing the board exam without doing any article in a law firm and all that? I don't know if you're getting me. That is just the part A of my question. Another one is, don't one require maybe a practical training where one gets the opportunity to put appearance in court? You see, have that hands-on experience, consulting with clients. You know, these are things I have so looked forward to having. But with the PVT, could that just provide a platform for one to complete the training with you or any other service provider, accumulate the 400 national hour, prepare yourself for the board exam without necessarily going to a law firm or to practice or do an article there? So I just needed that clarity. If it is a straightforward something, you accumulate your 400 hours, you prepare yourself for a board exam, and you get admitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Destiny.
I hope I understand your question, but please remember that there are two parts to PVT. So the 400 notional hour school may reduce your articles, but you still need articles. You still need to do the contract work. So it really depends. So the 150 hours goes with 2 years articles. The 400 hours goes with maybe 1 year if the place where you apply says they will take you for 1 year. So maybe you come to a law firm and they say, well, you did 400, that's great, but we only offer 2 years of articles, right? So you cannot get away from the practical experience or working part. So you do the school, but you still do the contract before you go to be admitted. And also remember that just to do the school and then you find to do the exam, it's not something we advise because the focus of this is different to preparation. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you have answered, because you have just separated the article, the practical training you get from a law firm versus the PVT. It's quite understandable. But, you know, it doesn't concern you. I'm just saying generally. Now, what I'm saying now is more like generic. You have answered my question. But since my third year, this is my final semester actually at Unisa for LLB. Since my third year, I've been applying, and I'm sure other students will be in the same shoes. Sometimes they even tell me that I'm overqualified because I've got 2 master's degrees and I'm coming now to come and do LLB. So they look at me as if I'm not supposed to be practicing law. You see, that they just needed someone who comes straight with an LLB. You see, when I apply, when people tell me that you already got 2 masters, I've got 2 masters. You see, but I love to practice law. That is why I want to go into law. But when I apply, people tell me that I overqualified. So I don't know whether additional knowledge or additional qualification is not an advantage for someone who is aspiring to become a legal practitioner. I don't know why people are scared. But anyway, it's okay. Thank you.
I hear you, and I do hope you find a place to live out your passion.
Thank you very much, Destiny and Liesel. Let's move over to Sikusewe Grosha. You're welcome to unmute and ask your question.
I want clarity. When is the first intake for next year? Because I'm doing my final semester next semester, this coming semester. So the first intake for next year, and when are the applications opening?
The first intake next year will be February, and our applications for next year actually haven't opened yet. I think we will get them ready by September. So please come back to our website by September.
Okay, by September I'll still be writing exams. So
okay.
I'm thinking about 7 modules. If I apply, let's say I'll get my results by January, will you take my application?
I think we still need to look at the cutoff date. So we will look at that. We will have to look at our dates, but we will publish them on our website.
Yes, please consider taking your dates to January at least, because some of us get our results by December, and we really want to do this as soon as possible.
Well noted. Well noted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita.
Hi.
Oh, Sikesewe. Yeah,
Yes, sorry, I couldn't unmute my mic.
no problem. You're welcome to go ahead.
And so I have two questions. I would like for you all to clarify for us the difference between PLT and PVT, because I hear a lot of people are saying I did PLT. Is the PVT a new name for the PLT? I've been trying to read up a lot on that. My second question is, last semester was supposed to be my final semester with Unisa. So now I'm just left with the results of one module. So I read on the website that if you're left with one module, so in case I do not make this module, Lord forbid, if I'm left with one module, then what's the process to still register for this second intake of the year? Because Unisa offers FI concession. They allow you to write your exam before the actual exam season. So I'm asking if they can allow me to register for this intake. Thank you.
All right. Yes, let me answer your first question about PLT. Yes, the name was changed at some point. So at some point it was called Practical Legal Training. So now it is known as Practical Vocational Training. It's basically the same thing. And your second question, yes. So if you only have one module outstanding, you can actually apply for our module, our second intake now that will start in August. Because if you just had one module outstanding, we can accept that. All we ask is, but that when you get, we can't release your certificate until we know that you have your degree and you've passed it. So, but you can do all the work. And then if you get your degree, you can let us know, and then you get your certificate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go over to Simon. Simon, you're welcome to unmute and ask your question. Okay, let's then go over to Mangaliso. Mangaliso.
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to ask about the competency certificate that you obtain after doing the course. Let's say, for example, you could go through the course, you finish it, you pass it, and then you are unable to secure the articles or clerkship for a longer period, let's say 3 years. Will the certificate still be valid if, let's say, you secure those articles late so that you can get the necessary process of admission? How long does the validity of those competency certificate is? Is it a lifetime or it has got a time frame? Thank you.
There I will have to double check for you, because I know there are some time frames in terms of when you do the exam. So to be honest, I can't exactly remember what the regulations are. So here I am sorry, because I think it is more important about when you do the exam and then apply for admission than the PVT program.
So just to check, so once you do the because the key issue we are talking about here is the PVT training, the 4 months. Let's say you did the 4 months. That competence certificate, is it valid for a period of a lifetime until you get a chance to do the PVT, the articles and admission, or it has got its own time to say within 2 years, if you have not been admitted, you have to do maybe a refresher before you can go for admission? That's what I just need to check on the competence certificate part only, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, I don't have that in front of me, and I will have to check for you.
Liesel, I'm not sure, but maybe just for those who would want to do further follow-up, I'm guessing that you would be able to share some contact details with us, for these kind of questions that you may not be able to answer.
Yes, so I can share my email address. Actually, also we have a website where the office has email address. You can always go look there. But should I put it in the chat maybe?
Yeah,
And
if you prefer, you can share the office email address.
Okay.
As long as we would just know who to contact if there are questions that we may not be able to answer right now.
Yes. It's pvt@gawieleroux.co.za. So I'm just going to put that in the chat.
Okay, thank you. We now go over to is it Dahile, the surname, not Prolo?
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, with regards to the 4-hour PVT, if I only have 2 modules left, will I be doing the PVT together with my 2 modules? Like I'll do it together at the same time.
Can you just repeat the question? Not everything came through clearly on my side.
Okay, I wanted to ask, so if I do the 4-hour PVT and I've got 2 modules remaining, will I do the PVT together with my modules, or must first finish my LLD and then I can start with attending classes and all of that?
No, maximum 2 modules outstanding, and then you can, so if you have a maximum of 2 modules outstanding, you can already enroll for the PVT.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I can study at the same time and then also do PVT at the same time?
Yes, with a maximum of 2 modules.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's go over to Chloe. Chloe Skuman.
Hi. I just wanted to find out, should you first complete your 400 hours of PVT school before doing your articles, or can you do it at the same time?
You can do it at the same time as long as you get permission to have those. There are 2 subjects that you need to do during the day.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. Zintle. Zintle, you're welcome to unmute. Tetwa.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, thanks for the presentation. One of my questions has been answered, and thank you very much for the response. But then the other question, the follow-up question I have from that one is that since I stay in Durban and the institution is in Pretoria, I understand that there's 14 subjects and the other 2 are required to be done in person. So then I will have to go to Pretoria. So I just want to know that
No, sorry, in person or online. Sorry, those are your 2 options for those 2 subjects. So you can still stay in Durban. You just must make sure that for those 2 subjects, when the lectures for those subjects are, that you can be online.
Oh, I can be online during the, okay. No,
yes, like now, where you can participate, you can speak, you can so it's online and but real. It's not like you watch the recording of this tonight.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Those are the 2 questions that I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zintle. Benneth. Benneth, you're welcome to unmute.
Good day. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm fine. Thanks for the lovely workshop. Ma'am, I have a question, but most of the questions have been answered. So it's just that I logged in later, so I had a technical problems. So what I want to know is, how do I check if the institution is legit? If I want to register for the law school in that institution, because in these days there are some institutions that are not recognized. Where do I check if
That is a very important question, because there can be places that are not legit. We are accredited. What is very important to note is that training provider is accredited by the LPC. So there is a letter that the LPC, or one of the declarations that says who they were accredited by them. So you will see on our website. So that's a statement, though, for a time it didn't reflect on their website. So we have made it available on ours. So you can also contact them to ask. But we are listed, so you can see there LPC accredited training providers, and there are then practical vocational training for candidate attorneys and practical vocational training for pupils. So, and then you can see the list of those that have been accredited by the LPC. I think that will help you to know. That is the most important one. I suppose you can also look at a track record and ask other people, and things like that would be important, if you want to, then in terms of quality. But please look at the accreditation. So if you go on our website, it is also there, but it should also be on the LPC website. Yes. There it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
thanks.
sharing it on the screen.
So you found it.
Yeah. So I see that the document lists the PVT schools, and then also for the pupillage for the advocate training. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you can see, just interestingly on that document, so the top 4, you can see there's for attorneys, and then there's quite a lot for pupils. That is for advocates. There were questions about the difference between attorneys and advocates. So if you want to become an advocate, you must look at the program for pupils. And then even more down, then there's other courses that they present for advocacy. Those are specifically trial advocacy training. Even though a small part of those are actually, let me just say, that is and we are there also number 20 on that list for trial advocacy. There are various others who do, you can there see the Black Lawyers Association, Silver Fox, and those are also accredited for the trial advocacy.
Okay. Thanks a lot, ma'am. I don't know whether I can ask a second question. Because I'm based here in Pietermaritzburg. So now if I want to enroll at Gawie le Roux practical legal training, so can I do it online, or do I have to attend the physical classes in Pretoria?
Okay, no, so everything you can do online. So there are just 2 subjects that you require real-time attendance. So you must be sure that at that classes you are able to log in online. So that, but you can do that from anywhere in the country.
Also, for those 2 modules, I don't need to go to Pretoria. I just need to log in and be online.
Yes.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Bennett.
No further questions. Thank you very much.
I've also posted a link to the document that I've sharing on the screen now in the chat. Okay, we are almost at the end of our time together. I see there's a hand from Leonard. So let's give you the opportunity. You're welcome to unmute and ask your question. Let me just allow your mic. Leonard, you're welcome. Okay, so those are all the hands that I saw. Diesel, can we quickly go back to the chat? I'll also just help you to take a look. Are there any questions that we may not have covered?
I'm taking the liberty of just scrolling through them to see if there's some questions that I think we haven't answered yet. And there was one about how many intakes. There's 3. We planned for 3 per year. This year was our first year, so we had 2. And then next year we plan to have 3. And then a question: will there be a certificate issued for trial advocacy? That is quite an important one, because that is a separate issue. If you now go look at this, a list of accredited training providers, to get that certificate for trial advocacy, you will need to go to one of those training providers for that program. So your PVT certificate, it's just for PVT. It's not also a trial advocacy one.
Liesel, the trial advocacy, would you mind just shortly explaining, is that for advocates or
No,
is that compulsory for all legal practitioners?
I actually can't speak about what it is for the advocates. If that's also, but just by looking at that, there's a lot of advocates there, so maybe, but let me not speak about on behalf of the advocates. For the attorneys, there are, if you want to go into that area, I think you need a certificate for trial advocacy. So that is specifically practicing what you do in court. Let me just.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, it's Leonard. Am I still allowed to ask the question?
You're welcome.
Oh, okay. My question, ma'am, is this law school? Will we be required to pay for it, or is it free of charge?
No, you will unfortunately have to pay for it.
Okay, thank you very much.
And Liesel, that is true, I guess, for the 4 different, if we look at the list, those 4 different institutes that have been accredited, all of those practical vocational training courses would be paid courses.
I can say with confidence for lead, and I think the other 2 as well.
Okay, but in any case, students could contact the other 3 to also compare the cost of doing the practical vocational training with them. Yeah,
absolutely. I've scrolled through the questions and I hope I've addressed most of it in my discussion. I think there was one about if you don't meet the requirements, still apply, and then we can look, if you don't meet the 55%, maybe we can look into it. But there's no additional bridging program or something like that. But apply and then see what happens is what I would suggest.
Liesel, the 55% average, is it for all the modules for the LLB? Do you only look at final year modules? How does that?
It's the whole degree.
Okay, so for all 40 modules, in other words, at Unisa.
Yes.
Okay. There was just one question that I will, it's not exactly about what we're talking about, but I will I will post some links to recordings of presentations we had last year. Somebody was asking, how do you decide, or what if you're not sure yet, if you want to go the attorney or the advocate route? So I will post some resources in the chat, some other presentations that you could go and take a look at. Liesel, I'm not sure in your role as the training coordinator whether you have conversations with people about, their career planning. So I don't know if you can contribute anything in terms of that.
No, I can't contribute much on advice on the route. We mostly focus on the attorneys, so I think there I should maybe not can't really help you in either way. I just wanted to mention, yes, I do. I know our time is short, so I don't want to go into trial advocacy, but my colleague Leandri Pretoria has posted just a link to more information about trial advocacy and maybe when is that required and why is that required, so you can have a look at that. I see that is in the chat, so that might be a useful resource.
Yeah. Okay, so are there any other questions that you picked up, or is it okay for us to end off the session then?
I think I have addressed most of the questions that I saw. If I missed one, I do apologize, but I did also give my email address, and our email address and office number is on the website if you want to have a look at this and contact us.
Okay, I just want to post these links quickly to the training of the videos that I spoke about. So one of them was from an advocate who shared his experience of how he managed his career planning and development while he was studying through Unisa and the route that he went through. And then the second video that I'm now posting is a presentation from Advocate Elizabeth Nevo to spoke about opportunities with legal aid. So I would also just in your process of planning and managing your legal career while you're still busy studying, I think those two speakers spoke quite a lot about the differences between the advocates and the attorneys, but then also how they manage their career planning. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to my presentation. There's just some information that I want to share with you before we leave this meeting. Okay, so just some more resources. There's two brochures or books that you can download free of charge. The first one is this Grad Next brochure that I'm showing you now, with a link to download as well as a QR code that you can scan to get to the website. So basically both of these brochures, and the second one that I'm going to show you, you'll see that it contains a lot of information about preparing for interviews, job searching, writing CVs and cover letters, networking. So all of you who are in the process of, for example, looking to secure training contracts or other employment, these two resources are quite important for you if you would want to learn more about those aspects. So the second brochure is released by PNet. They call it the Grad Pack. So there's also a download link as well as a QR code that you can scan to access this brochure. Then from our side, from the Directorate for Counselling and Career Development, if you have any questions about your career, your academic or personal development issues, you're welcome to send us an email. You may also make an appointment with a student counsellor online, or then contact a counsellor at your nearest regional office to have further conversations about support that you may need in terms of your career, your academic or your personal development. Then on our website as well as our YouTube channel, there are a lot of resources that you could go and access on the website. It would be more documents as well as links to other resources, again related to your career, academic or personal development. And then on our YouTube channel, we publish recordings of all the sessions that we have, such as this one. So please also go and take a look. For example, if you're looking for more guidance in terms of CV writing or interview skills or networking, all of those employability aspects, there are a lot of videos that we've shared over the past couple of years. And then for further career events, such as this one, we publish the information on the My Unisa events calendar. We have a law career seminar coming up in July. We are still just finalizing the arrangements in terms of our speakers, but please also keep an eye out. It should be around about the 16th, 17th, 18th of July, but we will definitely publish the final invitation on the My Unisa events calendar. And then you're also welcome to either contact myself. My email address is daisel@unisa.ac.za, or you could contact Ms. Mandu Makanya at makhah@unisa.ac.za. So that is it from my side. Liesel, I just want to thank you and also some of your colleagues who may have attended. We really appreciate the patience that you had in terms of answering all of the questions. I must admit, after the presentation, I was so happy to see the questions because I was also a bit lost in terms of all of this legal terminology. It's not my field, but I hope also that those who attended would feel free to follow up. If there are any more questions, please come back to us. If there are questions specifically about the Gawie le Roux the training, please email them. Liesel did share the contact details. So from us at the Directorate for Counselling and Career Development, Liesel and colleagues, thank you very much for taking time to share this with our students. And thank you to all of you who've attended, taken time away from work and other commitments to also invest this time in terms of your development. Mrs. Makanya, would you want to also say anything from your side?
I just want to appreciate the Gawie le Roux Institute for making time to share information with our students. It is always a pleasure to have different speakers in this platform, as in doing their presentations, they are helping in shaping the future of our students and also to help them make informed decisions, career decisions. It is a very difficult path to refine one's career path. So when there are different organizations sharing information that helps our students to refine their career paths. And for that, we just want to take this opportunity and say thank you so much to the Gawie le Roux Institute and also to our students who made it important to make time for this day just for their personal development. And thank you, our students, and everything of the best in your career endeavors. Thank you.